Hello, my name is Mitch and I draw Blood Force, and today we are continuing with the Killer Instinct crossover. Kind of, this is another prologue, but it does all factor in. This is Cyber Force number 1, Volume 2, number 1. And if you like the Blood Force channel, please click on the link in the description. That'll take you to my Patreon. And that's where all of these videos go before I upload them to YouTube. That's where all the Blood Force stuff is. That's all the behind-the-scenes stuff. If you like that stuff, that's the kind of thing you could drop a couple bucks on and be part of the behind-the-scenes stuff. You'd be an insider. But no, today we are looking at Cyber Force number 1. So, not the kind of delay that was between Wildcats 4 and 5. This one, Cyber Force number 4 from the miniseries, came out, whoa, blinded, in July of 1993. Man, that's such a long time from when Image started. And wrapped up in a bit of a hurry. And now we're getting to, this is the ongoing series. And I don't know, I mean, like, it's only been a couple of months here versus what would have been before. Like 4 or 5 months? 4 months? Yeah. In between the end of this miniseries and this. And, like, I'm looking at these guys and I'm like, man, really? None of these people have personalities. Like, none of them. The closest is Ripclaw, who's a ridiculous stereotype. Oh, well, I guess Impact is a bit of a surfer dude. Heatwave's nothing. She's nothing damsel. She's nothing, I don't know, tough girl? Like Psylocke, essentially. And he's nothing leader. Yeah, not the greatest stuff. We're getting Scott Williams doing the inks again, so again, I think Mark has learned his lesson. He's not going to be trying to ink his own stuff, which is a bit of a drag in itself, because, I mean, Mark inking himself is pretty great. But, I mean, you can't complain with Scott Williams either. So, Mark and Eric Silvestri plotting, well, both doing the plot. Mark does the pencils, Eric does the script, Scott Williams does the inks, Mike Heisler doing the letters. If it's not Chris Eliopoulos, it's Mike Heisler. That's just how it works. Joe Chiodo doing the colors. They only have one colorist. Ink assists, color assists, editorial assists. There's editorial assists? Really? Alright. So we get some. We're going to start off with some Ripclaw here. Who's being. I mean, are we supposed to not think this is Warblade? I don't know. Maybe he's more of a dark shape because this is Ripclaw's dream. Kind of / twisted memory kind of thing. Pretty good sewer. And I mean, it does look nice and intimidating. I don't like this with the giant separations. I love the way he does the shading on shit like this. It almost makes sense to me, but not quite. And he does this constantly. And holy shit, no. There's a panel. You imagine spending like a day or two drawing that shit? Well, I mean, let's be real. A day drawing that shit? You're not spending 2 days on that. You better not be. So, anyway. He's having Killer Instinct precognitive dreams. And then we're going to cut to Velocity, who's a member of the team now, so she got to train with the team. And that's a hell of a shot. That's really good. Like, that could be a poster. Easy. And that's, like, on Velocity's driver's license, that's the shot. You know? the shocked and scared, bird's eye view of her. That's the most commonly viewed shot of Velocity. And out of nowhere, there's robot thing So, I mean, I guess they've got Chip, and he designs like robots and AIs and shit. And yeah, so these are like training droids. Doesn't look particularly tossed off or anything. Looks pretty good. And this is so Velocity is becoming a bit more confident in her abilities. And then Ripclaw shows up. Not the best drawing Ripclaw, particularly for a splash page. There's bits and pieces here and there where it feels like, I don't know if he's going for speed or I doubt that, because Cyberforce does not come out that often or that regularly, or he just doesn't feel like drawing that much maybe, and so he's adapted some of his style, because Cyberforce number 4 had a bit of a change in the style too, where because like this is not a Mark Silvestri looking face. This is, yeah, sure. And they're just little bits and pieces that kind of indicate, I don't know, like he was kind of getting a bit more cartoony and getting a little bit away from his X-Men style. And like this here, this feels tossed off. Like he's doing an imitation of his own style. So Ripclaw decides that her training session is a bit too easy, so he's going to make it a bit more difficult. So she better run away. Which doesn't seem like the toughest test, really. As long as she picks a direction and keeps going in it, he shouldn't really be able to close the distance. But he does. I guess she gets lost. Yeah. But we're cutting back to Cyberforce's HQ, aka Subplex. That's no Blood Bastion, but okay. So yeah, they're noticing that Ripclaw intervened in the training session when he shouldn't have been, and that he's being weirdly aggressive. So that undoubtedly links to Misery. Great pose. Absolutely fantastic pose. And again, this kind of thing feels tossed off, and it's like perfect. That's pretty good too. And he's scaring her into being better, is the idea. And Heatwave shows up. He doesn't like how Ripclaw's, being a jerk and stuff. So he's gonna intervene. And yeah, and Ripclaw's like close to the edge here, and he's just acting weird, because again, he's being controlled by somebody else. This looks like vintage Mark Silvestri. This stuff here, with just like, where you've just got like a regular background and like regular dudes populating a bar. Yeah, that's some vintage stuff, and it all looks great. And this is Ballistic. And she's drowning her sorrows. Oh, and she gets confronted by Stryker. And he's like, hey, I got a trench coat too. Twinsies. Oh, and Metal Hands. I guess that's also a twinsies thing. And they're just matching up all over. And he's giving her shit because she's not staying in touch with Velocity. She's too busy feeling sorry for herself. All this kind of shit. And he won't leave her alone, so she busts a bottle over his face. That'll do it. Again, good motion. He does, like, this is kind of a phoned in page. Both of these pages, really, kind of phoned in. But again, it's Silvestri, so it doesn't really matter. It's not holy shit awesome, but it's still pretty good. And he seems to be a little better at telling a story. In a fight. She throws a punch, he catches it. They argue a little bit, she busts a bottle over his head. I guess he let go of her hand that she tried to punch him with. He doesn't like having a bottle busted over his head, so smacks her across the room. And then she jumps back at him, busts a table, trying to tackle him. It's good stuff. And I do not see any benefit to her being upside down here. That doesn't make any sense. I mean, obviously they're going for a back-to-tank kind of thing. And I think this is the Doc guy who got the microchips or whatever out of Stryker and assumedly all of them. And the fight is continuing. And again, I assume this is Marvel method where Mark Silvestri is going to draw a fight and hand it off to his brother and go, I don't know, put some dialogue in here somewhere. So yeah, she drop kicks Stryker. Good stuff. Grabs a bunch of straws and tosses them so they stick in the wood. And nice kind of double spread stuff. Yeah, all looks pretty good. And we're gonna, he's calling her out for, because she's kind of, talking like he's her stepfather, which I think is meant to be sort of a Freudian slip kind of thing. Only it's, sort of the ridiculously obvious version. And yeah, he's going to try and knock some sense into her one last time. And naturally that ends with her kicking him in the nuts. And then she walks out. But, decent fight. That went on for a while. Yeah, that's alright. And now we've got Ripclaw, and he's trying to clear his head while bouncing around on rooftops. Oh, but again, Warblade comes after him, and he's going to hack him up. And now he's got Misery in there with him as well, because this is a dream, of course. And Misery's going to... She's messing with Ripclaw's head so that he comes after Warblade for some reason. I don't know. Although this is reminiscent of Death Made Black, where Ripclaw did die. Only in that case, it was drawn by Jim Lee, and it was Mother May I controlling Warblade to stab Ripclaw with his long pointy finger. And I guess Mark saw that and he's like, man, I want to draw that. And yeah, so Ripclaw screaming wakes up everybody in the house. And yeah, Ripclaw's gone. He's gone to go looking for Misery and Warblade now that he knows they're alive. Apparently this is the first time that he's considered Warblade might still be alive. And it's time to saddle up, guys and gals. Yeah, more ads. They really wanted to hype this shit up. It was a big deal, kind of. Seeing Jim Lee draw Ripclaw, seeing Mark Silvestri draw Warblade. I'm a little lazy, but that's okay. All right, you get some fan art. Okay. And some Codename Strike Force. And we get, this feels like, you know what, Mark's keeping it real. Dear readers, in response to your dissatisfaction with overpriced foil and gimmick covers flooding the marketplace, Mark Silvestri decided to release... That's not really how you should be adjusting that. Codename Strike Force #1 in December with a $195 cover price and without any gimmicky cover enhancement. Just a great looking cover by Brandon Peterson and Mark Silvestri. Thanks for hanging with us. And they were correct in that it did not have a gimmicky cover. So that's it there. I don't know, I think I would have liked some foil, although not if it drove the price up. That said, no, Cyberforce #4 was $250 with a foil cover and embossed. Is it cheaper if you don't get it embossed? I guess we'll never know. Killraiser, Black Anvil, Tempest, and Bloodbow. And just, yeah, here's how to get art stuff and find out about the Art of Homage and the Cyberforce trade paperback. Alright, so that was Cyberforce number 1. Got some decent fights, and of course it looked great, as was to be expected. I mean, his style is deteriorating a little bit without having constant editorial, just nagging. But he still knows how to draw, I mean, better than anybody at Image, really, when it comes down to it. So next time we'll be going to Wildcats number 6 for the first official part of Killer Instinct. But that's going to do it for this one. Thanks very much for watching. If you like this video, please hit like, hit subscribe, hit the notifications. Go over, follow me on Twitter. More importantly, go to my Patreon and subscribe there. That's where all of these videos go before they get uploaded to YouTube, usually a week or so in advance. And that's also where all the Blood Force stuff goes, all the pages, all the process stuff, all the behind-the-scenes stuff, the insider stuff. So well worth checking out and dropping a couple of bucks on. But yeah, thanks again for watching this one. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.